Okay, well, good evening, everyone. I see we have a full list of participants, and it's now a little bit after 5 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Clayton Voynier. I'm the Director of Community Planning and Development with Richland County. I want to welcome our viewers and participants to Richland County's virtual public hearing for our fiscal year 2020 and 2021 annual action plan for community development block grant and home investment partnership funds. Since Richland County is an entitlement community, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also referred to as HUD, provides Richland County with a formula-based allocation of funds on an annual basis from these two funding sources. In accordance with HUD requirements, notice of this public hearing was provided online at richlandcountysc.gov under our news section on July 30th and in local news media beginning August 2nd. The notice provided an opportunity for citizens to request an invitation to participate in tonight's public hearing, as well as view the public hearing online through our Richland County YouTube channel. We will begin our public hearing with a short introduction of our newest member to the Community Planning and Development Department, Carrie Smizer, who is our Community Development Project Manager. Carrie will then provide a presentation of our action plan, and then we will open up the public hearing for questions or comments from our public participants. Public comments on the annual action plan will be taken tonight, as well as via email through August 20th. And all comments received will be attached to the final version of the action plan that is submitted to HUD on August 30th. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carrie Smizer. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Wagner. I'm going to just give you a little bit of my background before I get into the presentation. I'm excited about working for Richland County and with the Community Planning and Development Department. I've been working in affordable housing development for 20 years. For 18 years, I worked at the DC Housing Authority in development, and for the last 2 years have worked as a consultant in assisting housing authorities, municipalities, and developers with affordable housing development. While with DC Housing Authority, I worked as a development manager for 8 years on large-scale redevelopment of public housing sites, and then which received Hope 6 grants from HUD, and then was promoted to the Deputy Development Director, where I was responsible for a pipeline of 15 to 20 projects, which ranged in scale from the Housing Authority providing operating or capital subsidy to us actually self-developing, which meant that we were acting in the shoes of the developer. In both positions, I worked closely with our Department of Housing and Community Development, or DHCD, which was the responsible entity for community planning and development formula grants. And in almost all the Hope 6 developments, we use CDBG or sometimes a little bit of home funds. And we also use low-income housing tax credits. We worked very closely with DHCD and our Office of Planning with developing the comp plans every 5 years. And then because we were also funded by HUD, and I'm very familiar with developing annual plans and submitting those to HUD. So I want to thank our IT department, and I want to thank Megan Sullivan, who's acting as our scribe tonight and will record all of the comments and questions that we receive. So without further ado, we'll get into the presentation of the annual plan. And so we've had our greetings and introductions. We'll get on with the virtual logistics, and then we'll talk about public comment period, and then the annual action plan itself. And then I'll give an explanation of the CDBG funds, explanation of home funds, and then review the plan goals, and then review the activities for fiscal year 2020 through 2021. And then we'll have the question and answer period, and then we'll recap the review of public comment period, and then end the meeting. Regarding the virtual logistics, once again, we thank you for participating, and know that we'll have questions and comments after the presentation is completed. If you are participating by Zoom, we ask that you please feel free to use the raise your hand icon to speak. I will unmute you, and then we will listen to your comments and questions. If you are participating by watching on YouTube and want to ask a question or make a comment, please feel free to call in by using your phone at 929-205-6099. That's 929-205-6099. Prior to asking a question or making a comment, please state your name clearly and then speak up so we can hear your comment or question. The public comment period, as Director mentioned, is it's a 5-day public comment period. It begins this evening and ends next Thursday, August 20th. It's 5 business days. The comments must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. on August 20th, and comments can be emailed to hunter.lauren@richlandcountysc.gov, or you may call 803-576-1335. The consolidated and annual action plans. So the consolidated plan serves as the framework for the community-wide dialogue to identify the housing and community development priorities, which align and focus funding from the Community Planning and Development Formula Block Grant programs, which are administered by HUD, or the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So those programs are Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG program, Home Investment Partnerships, or sometimes you'll hear us call it HOME, Housing Trust Fund, Emergency Solutions Grants program, and Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS program. The annual action plan serves as the framework for each state or jurisdiction's annual allocation of those Community Planning and Development Formula Block Grant program funds based on the 5-year consolidated plan priorities. So the action plan corresponds to the approved 5-year consolidated plan. The Richland County annual plan corresponds to the approved 5-year consolidated plan for fiscal year 2017 through 2021. In December 2019, Public Law 116-94 was authorized Community Planning and Development, or CPD, formula grant funding administered by HUD. And that public law is the law which which Congress authorizes the funds to go to HUD. And then HUD disseminates those funds to each jurisdiction. So for Richland County, the Community Development Block Grant Fund amount is $1,628,500. For the Home Investment Partnership Program, it's $754,220. So HUD planning and development goals. HUD has its own performance goals and measures in the Community Planning Development Program, which Richland County is required to comply in order for HUD to determine and report the effectiveness of the program to Congress. So each state and jurisdiction using community planning and development grant funds is required by federal law to use them for housing and community development activities, which primarily benefit low and moderate income persons per the following HUD objectives, which are to provide decent housing. So those are activities focused on housing programs where the purpose of the activity meets individual, family, or community needs, and not programs where housing is an element or larger community revitalization effort. So also to establish and maintain a suitable living environment, which includes activities designed to address the living environment of families and individuals and communities. So you may, so an example would be providing accessibility for a disabled person or a senior of a low-income family in their home, creating economic opportunities, activities related to economic development and commercial revitalization or job creation. So perhaps bringing a grocery store to a food desert or creating job programs. These objectives are combined with 3 performance outcome categories: accessibility, which are activities which create services for homeless shelters, medical facilities, housing is available to accessible and low and moderate income persons, including persons with disabilities. And then affordability, of course, are activities which create affordability to low and moderate income families so they don't experience rent burden or homelessness. And then, of course, sustainability. So those are projects which focus on improving communities or neighborhoods by providing a direct benefit to persons of low and moderate income households, or by removing slums and blighted areas through multiple activities and services. So you can think about energy efficiency, maybe net zero housing where there's no utility payments or a small utility payment, or teaching residents about conservation. So Richland County determined its needs during the community engagement process for its consolidated plan for fiscal years 2017 through 2021. Rehabilitation of existing affordable owner-occupied housing, public improvements in infrastructure, revivification of dilapidated and or abandoned commercial and or residential properties, homeless or continuum of care services, which benefit, adults, families with children and or special needs homeless populations. Council approved eligible master planned area improvements, production of affordable housing units, homeownership assistance, collaboration with community partners to coordinate development activities, and public services through the public services entitlements. So the fiscal year 17 through 21 consolidated plan goals to address these needs were to provide funds for owner-occupied minor housing rehabilitation. So like the One Touch program, which we'll discuss a little bit, provide funds for owner-occupied housing rebuild, such as Rebuild Richland, develop affordable housing. That can be done through CHODO, which is the Community Housing Development Organizations, provide deferred forgivable loans for first-time home buyers, which is the RCHAP program, providing that down payment and closing assistance to them directly, to buyers directly, or provide funds for essential public services through the public services entitlement programs for homelessness, and then provide funds for public facilities and infrastructure improvements like the Southeast water and sewer installation. So additional goals included public improvements in infrastructure, revivification of the dilapidated or abandoned commercial and or residential properties, the homeless and continuum of care services that benefit adults, families with children, and other special needs homeless populations. Council approved eligible master planned area improvements, production of affordable housing units, homeownership assistance, collaboration with community partners to coordinate development activities and public services. So Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, is a program that was authorized in 1974 under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act. And CDBG funds may be used for a number of activities, including economic development, housing assistance, and investment in public facilities and infrastructure, and public service activities. Under the Section 108 loan guarantee, it allows jurisdictions and states to leverage financing for housing, public facilities, and infrastructure. And the regulations also governing CDBG in Section 108 may be found in 24 CFR 570 of the Federal Register. Home Investment Partnership, or HOME, is authorized under Title II of the Cranston-Gonzalez National Affordable Housing Act. Home funds may be used to develop, construct, and rehab affordable housing, and funds may be used to provide direct financial assistance to purchase or lease a home. The regulations governing home may be found in 24 CFR 92 of the Federal Register. So the activities for fiscal year 2020 and 2021 for Richland County under the CDBG of $1,628,500 include Operation One Touch, which is the owner-occupied housing rehabilitation, in the amount of $225,000, which is actually to make some repairs for low and moderate homeowners, and they get a loan of up to $15,000. Public service entitlement grants, which provides housing and services to homeless and unoccupied youth, of $244,275,000. Southeast water and sewer line installation and expansion of $700,000. Home project delivery cost of $120,000, and the CDBG administration, which is $325,000. Under CDBG public service entitlement grants, the Richland County Community Planning and Development Department is issued a notice of funding availability on July 7th of this year, which closed last Friday, August 7th. We received 19 applications, and we currently have a panel that is reviewing and evaluating those applications to recommend to the county council. And we anticipate award notices going out prior to October 1, 2020. For fiscal year 2021 home activity, with an allocation from HUD of $754,220, and a total budget of $885,422 because the county has to make a match. There is the Richland Rebuild, which is actually reconstruction of owner-occupied units, and that amount is $360,000. Richland Homeownership Assistance Payments, which provides down payment and closing cost assistance to first-time low to moderate income buyers of $200,000. $25,000. It's $200,000 from the allocation and $25,000 from program income. And then the Community Housing Development Organizations, or also known as CHODO, that is actually production of affordable rental and homeownership units through rehab and or new construction. That is $250,000 with a match of $188,555. And then the administration of $75,422. So the Community Housing Development Organization, or CHODO, RFP update. We are currently drafting the RFP for funding and anticipate that the RFP will be out for issuance hopefully by the end of the month or early September, and responses will be due 30 days after release. And now, without further ado, it's time for question and answer, unless anyone on the panel has any comments or additions.
No, I just, this is Clayton again. I just wanted to thank you, Carrie, for going through that presentation and putting this together. You've been a great help and support in your new role, and I look forward to the questions and comments at this time. Thank you.
So we're open for comments and questions. All right, let's see here. All right, Joe. Mr. Huggins.
Hey, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Hey, thank you for having us, and thank you for a great presentation. Glad you're here in Richland County. Had a quick question. I'm Joe Huggins with Homeworks of America. We provide free home repair for elderly, disabled, and veteran homeowners throughout the state. We're headquartered here in Columbia in Richland County. And I wanted to clarify, have we already missed an opportunity for CDBG funding for home repair this round?
No, you have not.
Okay. All right, I'll stop the heart attack now.
Okay.
Okay, because we've utilized CDBG funds before with Richland County and other counties throughout the state. And so we just wanted to be able to utilize those to help our neighbors around us. So we thank you for that.
All right. Thank you for attending.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, let's see. Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. The caller?
Tina Thomas. And I'm just a citizen, so wanted to know where I could access the actual plan online, because I thought a draft would have been posted on the website.
We can, well, I know I can send you a draft. Clayton, will we post that on the website?
Yes, after the public hearing, we will be posting it on the website. For those of you that signed up in advance, your emails, I believe we sent you a copy prior to the public hearing, but we will have that up on our website after the public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Andrew Boozer. Mr. Boozer?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm with Senior Resources here in Columbia, and I was just checking in on a lot of these services appear to be geared towards homeless or those that may be homeless and families involving youth, but it does not speak directly to those who are elderly in our community, which is one of our largest growing segments here in Richland County. I want to know if there was any plans to include elderly specific language in this area plan for this year.
No, there's not to actually include elderly in the plan, but we can use CDBG funds for senior housing or to assist elderly.
I'm particularly interested in how those could be used for community supports to help elderly age in place. I'm thinking in addition to the great work that HomeWorks does in rehabilitating homes, but also providing community center and community access points to help seniors stay healthy, and making sure that was included in this plan and opportunities to do that.
Yeah, so most of our One Touch is helps a lot of seniors because, you know, sometimes they have repairs that are needed that they cannot afford to have done. So they may have some deferred maintenance that needs to be done, or need some assistance with aging in place. So there is a possibility, yes, for to assist seniors with aging in place or other services that are needed to assist them improve their quality of life.
Okay, thank you.
Brandy. Let's see. Christopher Rose.
Yes.
Go ahead, ask your question.
One thing I was noticing, I've been on the CDBG committee in Charleston. I know up at the beginning, you did mention Hopewell, and I just was wondering if there are any specific funds that you guys are, all the other allocations seem fairly normal, but I know Charleston does Hopewell, and I just wondered if Richland County does that as well.
Now, we don't receive Hopewell funds, but the City of Columbia does.
That's probably the difference, yeah.
Yes. Does that answer your question?
That does. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Denise Hartley.
I do not have any questions at this time. I was just responding, trying to listen for the information. Thank you.
Thank you for attending. Let's see. Kevin Wimberly.
Yes, Kevin Wimberly with SC Uplift Community Outreach. We are a CHOTO with Richland County. Gary, again, as everyone has echoed, is glad to have you here with us. looking forward to working with you. When you mentioned the RFP that's going to be released, will it be sent out to the current chodos, and will there be like a meeting prior to, or is it just going to be released and we respond to that?
We will send it to people who have responded to the Chodo before, to active Chodos. We will also most likely do a virtual meeting.
Okay. And one other question, we also serve with as an housing trust fund participant with the SC State Housing Development Finance Authority. And I know sometimes we've partnered with the past with Richland County with doing owner-occupied projects, renovations. And I know at one point there was a stipulation that was input where the county would not do any projects with houses that were pre-1978. So is that still be stipulated, or it won't matter the age of the home?
I have to throw that one over to Clayton.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. We'll have to get back to you on that one. I'm not familiar with that requirement, but I can definitely find that out and send that information to you. And I'll send it out to the information to everyone on the hearing tonight, and we'll also include that information when we submit our action plan to HUD.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Scott Miller.
Hey, can you hear me? I'm sorry about that.
Yes.
Yes. I've lost my mute button. I was following.
Can you state your name, please, again?
Yes.
For us?
Sorry, my name's Scott Miller. I'm with Kimley Horn and Associates. It's an engineering firm. I was following the CDBG grant application through their second round of mitigation funding. And part of the application for Richland County included some stormwater projects, including like watershed studies and things. And I didn't see that in this action plan. So I was wondering if that's that stuff that coming with the mitigation funding is coming out later, or is this all one big CDBG grant program?
Yeah, and I can respond to that, Carrie. The CDBG MIT funding is a separate funding stream, even though it comes from the same block grant. So those funds, we held our public hearing back in June, and we'll be submitting our action plan to HUD at the end of this month. And that information can be found online. And I think if we have your email address, I'm happy to send you information about that action plan to you through your email.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Margaret Clark. Margaret Clarkson. All right. right, I think that's it.
Ms. Clarkson, if you were trying to speak, looks like you're on mute.
Maybe she wasn't. No. I don't have any more hands up or any callers in, so I will move on. As mentioned, the public comment period for this fiscal year 2020-2021 annual action plan for CDBG and home funds is a 5 business day period. And the comment period begins today and ends August 20th. And comments should be submitted by 11:59 p.m. on August 20th, next Thursday. Comments must be emailed to hunter.lauren@richlandcountysc.gov, or you may call 803-576-1335. Once again, we thank you for participating and we ask that you be safe and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who participated, and thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Director. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Stop recording.